Right, here we are, Bound Brook Criterium. This is day one of tour of Somerville in Somerville, New Jersey. Drove down here kind of at the last second. Had a kind of a relatively difficult week of training, but this was a really fun course. As you can see here, this first turn and then an immediate left. This is the most technical part of the course, and it was causing a lot of problems throughout the day if you were too far back. If you were in the top 5 or 6 riders, you could take that at pretty much full speed, but any further back and there's a lot of braking and really heavy acceleration on the way out. So as you can see already, if you're in the inside, you're getting spit out the back, and if you're on the outsides, you can move up a little bit. There's some brakes at the front. This guy right behind me in the orange helmet, his name's Brennan, and he's a strong, sustained power guy and ends up going out for a breakaway that we have to chase back and then sending a flyer out on the very last lap. He was pretty strong. We ended up having to watch him the rest of the weekend. So my goal here was just to get a feel for the pace, see how hard everybody wanted to go, sit in, stay out of the wind for the first little bit, and then maybe match some attacks in the second half of the race, see how I'm feeling. But for the most part, stay out of the wind, get my legs under me, get a good sense for how this field is going to go, and then try to make it a sprint finish at the end. So we'll skip ahead here. Every now and then the pace would really slow down. That would give a good chance to put in, not really that hard of watts here. I only got up to about 400 watts, but got about 10 wheels back, and I'm right up by the front. So that's kind of what I did every now and then to maintain position. So right here, there's about 3 guys off the road, about probably 5-second break, and an attack goes off to the right, and Morgan here in the green Specialized bike really puts down some watts and realizes that if we don't start doing some work, the brake could get away. So around the next turn, he decides to bridge up, and I just get in his draft and go along for the ride here. It brings him back single-handedly. So right here, a few minutes later, the pace really eases off, and I use that as an opportunity to pick up a lot of wheels. Don't mind getting in the front and taking a little wind. I know that I'm not going to spend much time there, so kind of come around and use it as an opportunity to get better position. And right away here, an attack goes off, and the pace gets really tough for the next probably 2 or 3 minutes here. All right, so here comes a pretty big attack from the left here. Greg takes a really hard dig. This guy comes in front of me, and we're still putting out some watts, but I can tell that they're going to kind of get away from us here because we're not doing enough. The guy's looking back. He's getting tired. So I pull through and decide to do a little pull here to not let him go. So looking back, this was definitely not the best move. I should have attacked and bridged up instead of just putting work in at the front and bringing everybody along with me. It would have been a lot smarter to just attack and try to bridge up or stay back instead of pulling everybody along here. And that's really the main reason why I film these crits, so that I can watch them when I'm finished and really learn a lot about the areas that I could have done better and conserved more energy during times like this. These guys on front here are not really doing much at all, so I kind of decide that I'm either going to sit in and wait and see what happens, or I'm going to kind of make an extra hard dig and try to not bring everybody with me, just go on my own. So at this point I realize that I'm not going to be able to bridge up on my own, or I don't really want to risk that. So I ease off and kind of let the pack come back to me. So at this point right here, I start to get a little bit worried. So I start trying to rally the troops here. I'm telling everybody let's do 30-second turns here and try to bring somebody back. And this guy gets here on the front and does a really massive turn. I was really glad I enlisted his help. So at this point I'm worried because there's 3 strong guys up the road, so I do a pretty hard pull here myself. I was worried that if I attacked, it was just going to be a little bit too far to bridge up by myself, so figured if I had some help, that'd be for the best. So this guy I convinced to get on the front here, but he doesn't really do much of a pull at all. So this guy here right behind me in the black and green kit, he comes up and I say, come on, let's do a pull, bring him back. And he just gets on and kind of sprints up and bridges the rest of the gap. So I give him a pat on the butt right there and say, nice work, thanks for bringing him back pretty much single-handedly. So here we are, the race is back together. So now I've sat in for a little while, just up close enough to the front to stay out of trouble, but get the heart rate back down. I'm feeling pretty good. 2 laps to go here. All right, so this is the second to last lap, and as you can tell, everybody's getting a little bit more antsy. I do a good job staying up towards the front until about right here, but on this back stretch, the pace slows down, and I do a really poor job of holding my position. Before I know it, I'm sitting at the very, very back of this group, as you can see right here. Really made a mistake here. Everybody's jockeying for position pretty heavy here. You can see them swarming around the outside. I have to waste quite a bit of energy to get up towards the front here, but I know that, with 4 minutes left in this race, that it's critical. So now this is the last lap. Brennan in the yellow with the orange helmet, really strong kid who was in the breakaway earlier, goes on in the attack by himself, and there you can see him speeding ahead. He takes this right left turn here really hard, and honestly gets a pretty good gap, and nobody really wants to chase him. So I realize I'm too far back for it to be the last lap here, so I carry some speed out of the turn, and when they slow down just slightly, I pick up a lot of wheels here on this little backstretch. We're passing some lap traffic here. Now I'm on the head of the main field, and I actually put in a little bit of a dig here to try to bring Brennan kind of close, and then I'm just begging somebody else to help me pull through. Right here I'm really nervous. I know he's got probably about an 8-second lead here on us, and nobody wants to help me do any pulling. And I'm afraid to do too much myself. My heart rate's already pushing 180, and then here we get an attack that just does enough work to get us close. There it is on the left coming around. So I realize when that guy gets on the front and starts pulling, I say, okay, we got a chance here. So now I'm just about setting up for this last sprint. This turn at the end of the road here, I realize I got to carry my speed through these last 2 turns so I can get a sprint. I know the outside line's fastest into the first turn because I can carry my speed without braking, get a couple wheels, and then my plan is to get an opening and dive inside for the last turn.